Welcome back, guys. If you are just joining us, this is INX Prime Live. Remember, we are on your screens every single Monday to Friday between the hours of 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Now, in recent years, the tech industry has seen a transformative initiative taking root in South Africa, led by the South African Mobile Devices and Repairers Association, also known as SAMDDRA. Now, this registered non-profit organization is not only making sweeping changes to the mobile device repair industry, it is also empowering individuals from disadvantaged backgrounds through its training programs. Now, since its inception 3 years ago, SAMDDRA has trained over 440 individuals and aims to train more than about 1,200 candidates this year alone. Now, SAMDDRA provides its graduates with essential skills, business development knowledge, and opportunities for funding as well as support to ensure that they're well prepared to start their own businesses. Now, we are going to actually be chatting to the chairperson and founder, Loyiso Kicha, and he is actually in studio with us right now. Loyiso, thank you so much for joining us right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you. I want to get straight into this conversation. I think the work that you guys do in your NPO is incredible, and a lot of people are very inspired by this interview and look up to the work that you guys do. I just wanted to find out, in terms of SAMDDRA, how did you first organize it? How did the idea come about? Please share with us the background behind it.
Yeah, I think SAMDDRA itself comes from the ICT SMME chamber, which I also lead. As members, or at least leaders of the chamber then, we grappled with the lack of coordination of government programs, the lack of impact. As you may know, there's been quite a lot of training, quite a lot of government programs which are meant to deal with job creation, but none of them seemed to have the necessary impact on jobs creation, on skills that can be used, and even on businesses. And also, for an example, what typically seemed to happen, also that was becoming a trend, is that certain industries or certain jobs were even taken over by foreign nationals. And as you would know, in the spaza shop industry, it's completely taken over. And as we were looking at that, we thought what we've noticed is these interventions tend to focus on that specific intervention instead of looking at the entire value chain. Luckily, I've studied systems thinking, where if you look at something as a system, you would understand that if pulling a lever on this side, what does it do to the entire system? If I may go back to the example of the spaza shops, South Africans were taken out of the industry because a group of foreign nationals looked at spaza shop not just as spaza shops. They were able to look at the distribution, they were able to look at the funding, they were able to look at how they do warehousing, which is the value chain of part of the value chain of that industry. And they're able to outprice our people. They were able to make sure that their shops are better stocked, and as such, they were able to take our people out of the market. And the same thing was beginning to happen here. So we then looked at the entire value chain of the mobile device industry, all the way from manufacturing, all the way to e-waste, which is how you dispose of these devices. We said, where do we start? And we realized that the mobile device repair industry was almost going the same route as the spaza shop. Yeah. If you notice now, you go to any shopping center, you're looking for accessories or mobile devices. It's mainly non-South Africans, and these are jobs that South Africans can do and can be trained to do. That is where we came up with SAMDDRA, and we said, let's start and focus on the mobile device repair industry, but the aim is to really look at it as a whole, so that we are able to support it, so that we make sure that those that we train are able to be to create sustainable businesses and sustainable jobs. So that's really what came about. We looked at the entire value chain, and we said, how can we create a program that would be sustainable and create jobs for our people.
No, I think that's brilliant, and it's definitely an industry that's, amazing to tap into. I just want to touch on, looking at the NPO, and I mean, it's all about foresight at the end of the day. It's all about the direction of the NPO, and you play such an important role and a vital role in that, because obviously, your vision leads to the growth, or obviously the opposite of it then if it isn't done correctly. But I just wanted to know, what are some of the visions and missions and goal objectives of the NPO in the long-term perspective?
The first one is we want to see in every township, in every mall, in every shopping center, our own people that have been trained, having shops, trading. We want to see those that have been in the industry, that have been working for the MNOs like Vodacom and MTN, who have been able to do this job without having papers, to be RPL'd through our program as a professional body, so that they can get certificates which are NQF level recognized. We want to make sure that you as a South African, when you go to a mobile device repairer, obviously that is SAMDDRA certified, you are given assurance that that person is well trained, they're using the proper tools, they are using the proper parts for your phone, and they adhere to a certain code of conduct and not take certain parts from your phone like what's happening now. To basically see this industry professionalized for its growth, and a trust system between the end user and the industry. And lastly, to make sure that this industry is not used to create crimes, because if in the wrong hands, people who know how to work these phones could also use them for criminal purposes. So that's really the vision for SAMDDRA, but the bigger vision is to make sure that we create jobs and we can bring these services closer to our people.
No, without a doubt. And I mean, I'm just thinking about the work that you guys do. You do get a lot of these practical training programs that are out there in South Africa. And a lot of them are out there trying to provide different solutions to different problems. How would you say your programs differentiate or are different to any of the other ones that are currently out there right now?
Yeah, as I explained before, we looked at the entire value chain. So first, there was no mobile device repair qualification in South Africa. So together with MICT-SETA, which I'm also a board member of, we assisted to put together a qualification. That qualification has been gazetted. It will come in quite soon, so that everybody can be able to make use of it. Currently, the program we are training on was a program that we designed using the National Electronic Certificate. So that's where we started. We made sure that there is a program that is accredited by MICT-SETA, which is the SETA relevant for this industry. On top of that, we did not only look at training, which is the real differentiator. We didn't train people for the sake of training and said they must go away, there's little tools. We looked at them, we looked at which partnerships can we put together so that the person who comes into our program, they get the technical skill, they get the business skill, and those that are proficient to do business are also funded to be able to start their own businesses. And those that are not business-oriented, they can be hired by their colleagues, but we can also give them a certificate which can help them further their study and be able to move. And once they have those businesses, we still don't say, bye-bye, you have your business. We have a distribution arm that will make sure, just like that example I was talking about at the Spaza shop, we've also made sure that there's a distribution arm that will make sure that these now young businesses don't have to wonder where to get the right material from and be making deals. They will be able to get all the tools that they need with further support and further training programs that they require from other SETAs like WNR SETA and other SETAs which we have partnered with. So we've got a glossary of partners that would make sure, and they will become our members, by the way, so we make sure that they get more revenue streams. We bring more programs to the very same businesses. For instance, if you are already there in a township with a container and you're fixing phones, we would probably want to train you to be able to fix set-top boxes and DSTV devices. You're already there anyway. You understand electronics. So those are the aim. The other pipeline programs that would come. You would also make a good collector for e-waste. So those are some of the things that we're looking at, so to make sure that these businesses actually thrive and sustainable. Hence, we said there's other things that we are looking at in the value chain. You become part of the family, and we take you from the beginning and stick with you as long as you are part of this business. And that's really what differentiates us from the rest of these other programs.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, you guys are practically you're creating an ecosystem, which is a beautiful platform for a lot of, you know, these entrepreneurs and these young business people as well. Just looking at creating that ecosystem, I'm sure then, because you have something that's sustainable, there's probably a lot of success stories that have come out of your training programs as well. Maybe perhaps you can share with us one or two of the ones that are most impactful for you in your own personal capacity.
Yes, so in the first cohort that we trained, which was mainly around the townships in Pretoria, a few of these young learners have a shop in Acacia. They've been trading there, doing very well. In fact, we've sent some of the phones that they've fixed. And they did it very quickly. They moved out without much assistance. Currently, we also have another program from the WNR-SETA where we are building 50 containers. So those that we have trained will be getting containers, 50 of them across the country, mainly in Gauteng, because that's where most of the already trained cohorts are. But we will try and spread it across the country. So they'll be getting fully equipped containers with initial stock, with the tools, so that they can run their businesses. And through our partnership with CIFA and SEDA, they will continue having business support. So already we're getting to that point where we will now start seeing these containers on the ground trading.
No, I really like that. And I mean, I'm just looking at the work that you guys have done so far, and I know I've mentioned it actually in the intro, is that you guys have already trained about 440 individuals, and you're looking at training about 1,200 alone in a single year. Let's just talk about the whole, you know, concept about the domino effect or the ripple effect in that sense. You know, is that one of the goals that you guys have in mind, where if, for example, you are training 1,200 people, there's going to be obviously a ripple effect in terms of more employment that comes from it, more income that comes into the economy, that kind of a thing?
Yes, yes. One thing, if we go back to the issue about the foreign nationals, this is about a 15 billion rand industry. And if a 15 billion rand industry is mainly dominated by foreign nationals who don't spend money in this country, if you notice where there's a spaza shops, these people don't spend money in the country. Yeah. That money gets remitted out of the country. Yeah. So you get a lot of financial outflows as a result of money that is not spent in the country. So if you can get these simple things that our own people can do, that on its own will retain quite a lot of money into the country. And as you're putting it, that money has a ripple effect. Secondly, obviously, there's a job part. You don't have quite a lot of young people that are sitting on the streets, if you can start doing these things. And there's other businesses which we've not yet revealed that can come out of this in terms of supporting these shops. But also, this is a base skill that is usually needed for manufacturing, which is another area that we want to go to. So there's quite a lot of ripple effects in the value chain. So this is one part in the value chain, but whether you're looking at it very vertically or horizontally in that value chain, there's quite a lot of things that then come from this. We want to train about 25,000 in the country, because when we did our calculation, in terms of the townships that we have, Soweto alone can take more than 100 of these containers. In fact, most of these big townships can take more than 100 of these containers. And once you have these containers, when it comes to electronics-related things, there's just quite a lot of things that you can do. So the more that we have trained, the more that we can start placing in the townships before we even get to malls, and we could start seeing quite a movement in the economy. And also, what we want to demonstrate is this issue of looking at things as a system. In the case of what we're talking about as a value chain, because if you don't look at the entire system, you have interventions that fail to have impact, that fail to scale to a level where they can make a difference in the country. Hence, I think we find ourselves where we are. So 1,200 is great, but the number that we're looking to do, and we're looking at quite a lot of partnerships, we want to have over 25,000, because then we can start running a different campaign of saying South Africans use South African trained, SAMDDRA accredited repairers for the other reasons I've mentioned earlier, and then you can start seeing the impact of what we are doing. So we're getting there, but the task is big, is quite big.
No, I mean, your project sounds incredible, and I'm sure you definitely will achieve all of that as well. Loyiso, thank you so much for joining us tonight on INX Prime Live.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's a pleasure, guys. That is Loyiso, who is actually the founding member and chairperson of SAMDDRA. Now, I mean, he did share with us that, you know, they've trained about 440 individuals so far. They are planning on doing 1,200, but their maximum or their higher goals that are coming up is about 25,000 and even moving up above that as well. So we definitely wish him all the best in terms of his projects. But we are going to head off right now to Masjid Ul Aqsa for Salah.